my friends. So, you are born with the right to your body, and we all have a responsibility to respect our body, to care for our fundamental needs, to care for our food, our sleep, our exercise, and also touch, to respect others' boundaries. So, if we have both rights and we have responsibility for our body, and sometimes we have challenges with our body. I call that isthema. Isthema is various forms of suffering when we have illness, when we have challenges with our body. But it's also referring to that with the challenges, we can grow, we mature. If we have an identity with our body, it's also to listen to our body and to mature with wisdom. So, what would you think? How would the world be if we lived in harmony with these principles? If we had the right to our body and if everyone cared, what kind of world would we have? Your ideas can change the world. You have the right to all your emotions. You have a responsibility for your emotions. Working with funerals and also leadership, I've seen all the range of emotions, people expressing fear, anger, frustration. But what I've also seen is how people mature when we can freely feel and express our emotions in a dignified way. We can also mature with our emotions and coming to peace. And this is how isthema is created. Isthema is when we are feeling emotions that are dense. And then we mature when we can face and go through this. So it's an important learning to listen to your emotion and maturing with your emotions. Now, how would the world be if we lived in harmony with this principle? Your ideas can change the world. Friends, you have the right to your thoughts, and you have a responsibility for your thoughts. Whenever we are thinking, and our thinking is with dense emotions, then there are always other aspects to be discovered. So it's about to see and to trying to figure out facts are simply facts. But then it's all our emotions around this. And the emotions is indicating there are other aspects to be discovered. And this is isthema. This is when we are facing and going through challenges, when we are going through and we have something we need to mature, something to broaden perspectives. I want you to think about how would the world be if we lived in harmony with these principles? Your ideas can change the world. So you have the right to your power. And we all also have a responsibility for our power. What is power? So there are three types of power. You have the right to your personal power, it's your time, it's your energy. And you also have a right and a responsibility for your monetary power and your physical power. And as we mature, it's also about our sexual power and how we act and interact with each other. With this right to your power, your time, your energy, your money, and your physical presence, we also have a responsibility. And in our action and interaction with each other, it's a lot about learning. I call that istima. Istima is various forms of suffering, about maturing, to trying to listen to each other. What is my rightful space? I want you to think about, what would the world look like if we lived in harmony with this principle? Your ideas can change the world. So, the fifth principle on the human constitution is that you have the right in your expression, in your communication, and you have a responsibility in how you express what you create. And it comes back to dignity. It's how we mature in our communication. It's about listening to each other, but also to express. And whenever we are expressing, we are humans, and sometimes we say things or do things that is really hurting other people. And then we also have a responsibility to listen. So, in this istima process, in whatever is causing fear or grief or anger, or frustration, it's indicating that there is something more to be discovered. And by listening to each other, by being a little bit more curious, we can evolve in such a beautiful way. And I wanted to ask you, how would the world be if we lived in harmony with this principle, with everyone taking their right in their communication, but also responsibility? What would that look like? Your ideas can change the world. The sixth principle on the human constitution states that you have the right to your life. And you have the right to live with whomever, wherever, and however you like, but not at the expense of others. We also have a responsibility to respect others' way of life and other life forms. We are such impactful species on this planet, and we really, really need to take our responsibility. I believe we can do this together because there's a lot of suffering. There's a lot of istima right now that we need to mature in how we treat the planet. There's istima, and we can mature and broaden perspectives and take our rightful role. So I wanted to ask you, how would the world be if we lived in harmony with this principle? That you have the right to your life and you have a responsibility to respect others' way of life and other life forms. What would the world look like? And I appreciate you for being here and listening. Please know that your ideas can change the world. So, the seventh principle is about unity. As a species, we all have human rights, and we also have human responsibilities. It's about that we need to collaborate more. It's to encourage moral courage. In Swedish, we call it civilkurage, because whenever we do not acknowledge each other, Whenever we do not see each other, whenever we are saying, that's not my problem, I call that istima. Istima is various forms of suffering, isolating ourselves from each other. We are creating more division. And by listening to each other, by acknowledging each other's emotions and the right to live, and also our responsibilities, uniting and co creating more, I believe we already have all the solutions that we need for all our challenges. But we need to collaborate. We need to make better choices. And by uniting, we can make a huge difference. We have done that so many times before, and we need to do it again and again and again. I wanted to ask you, what would the world be like if we all lived in harmony with this principle? What do you think? Because I believe that your ideas can change the world. So thank you for listening, and let's connect.